I wish I knew those 10 things when I was 20 years old. I ran my own business for the last 20 years. First thing is don't burn bridges.
Bridges.
As simple as it is, just don't burn bridges. If you work with someone, don't end the relationship in a bad way, despite how bad it was. Don't say the words that you will regret. Even if there are certain misalignments or problems, try to resolve them instead of just step away and say goodbye. I wasted maybe 5 customers like that. Those were long-lasting partnerships. Those were companies that were ordering a lot of games from me every year. But at some point, there was some sort of disagreement, either about payments or about deadlines. And a lot of problems was on my side. But instead of negotiating the better deals, being more honest with how long it will take to make certain things, I was not talking about it and then just stepping away from the partnership. So I made a lot of games for them, but we ended up not as friends. And I don't recommend to do that. Because if you behave like that and you burn the bridges, it is very hard to grow your business. It is way better to have long-lasting relationships. So there's way more to lose than to gain if you just burn the bridges. Second thing is you will never actually finish something. There's not such state in a creation of product that you can say, okay, it's done, it's finished. You just need to decide. This is it. This is the moment that I'm going to release it. And I can always fix it later. I can add extra features later, but the sooner you release it, the better. Because otherwise you're risking building the things that no one really wants. And you don't really know what to build in the first place. Don't wait for something to be perfect. Just release as soon as you can and see what happens. I did that with my first gaming portal. I made very basic 10 games. I just made a website that I was able to produce at that time. It was very simple, just to showcase my games, just to allow players to play it. And that was it. And from there, it was growing. I got feedback from people, I improved, I learned new things, and built from that. Another example, I worked in a startup as a senior software engineer. I went to a series of meetings with my boss, and those were sales meetings. I witnessed how she was selling the things, the features that I was making by myself, that I found those features not being finished, not being perfect, not being even good sometimes. And yet she was selling it and people were actually impressed. So she didn't wait for me to actually tell her, oh, it's done, you can now sell it. No, she just took what we had and showed it. And it worked. Third one, try to focus on one thing and stick with it for as long as you can. That's something I struggle a lot with. Internet and software engineering and business creation, it's so interesting space to be. There are so many things that you can actually do. But if you jump from one to another, as I did, you never really excel at any of those. An example. When I released my first website with my own games, I was focusing on it for 2 years maybe. It was growing very rapidly. It was I was building new features and improve things. But the moment I wanted to create a second version for foreign markets, my attention split. And I stopped developing the first website. I focused on the second one. So you can imagine the first one was going worse, and the second one was not growing fast enough. I thought, hey, how about another project? And then another project. So I was constantly coming with new ideas rather than focus on what was working and just grow it. Point 4. Your offer is way more valuable than you might think. Generally, we live in our own bubble. I was surrounded with either software engineers or business owners. So whenever I was creating something new, it wasn't that much impressive to them because they could easily recreate the same thing. The moment I took it and went to totally different industry or group of people out of my own bubble, all of a sudden it was very impressive stuff because no one really knew how to make it. But in reality, when you are surrounded with all those people, you may start to think that your skills aren't as valuable as they are in reality. For example, if you can imagine like the most basic game, like memory game. I took this concept, which if you ask any game developer, they would not even consider it a game, probably. But I took this concept, applied it in HR environment, created an education game for onboarding. And all of a sudden, people were like very impressed, even though it was such a simple concept. But it was only simple because I already knew how to do it. Not everyone knows that. So if you want to really check value of your own skills, take it somewhere else. Point 5. Nothing lasts forever. I know, it's obvious. Our life don't last forever. Our business can die. Our marriage can collapse. We can lose a job. So use it to your own advantage. Because instead of getting attached to the idea that something needs to last so long, you can apply that in a way that maybe I can find something better. It will still going to an end at some point. So whenever things go south, you just need to remember that this is temporary state, because everything in our life is temporary. So don't be afraid and just accept that as a fact. 6. There are no risk-free decisions. Unfortunately, even lack of decision is some sort of the decision. And sometimes the risk of not taking the decision is actually way more costly than wrong decision. Stay at work that you hate. And on top of that, you don't earn enough money. You are like getting debt to sustain your living. Not taking a decision about changing the job is very costly for you. But you might think that you'll not find another job. But the problem with that thinking is, well, you might as well lose current one. So the risk is still there all the time. So if you know that the risk is still there, you might as well focus on the upside of the decisions and choose things that will bring you more joy, more money, more satisfaction. Because either way, there is a risk. 7. You can't please everyone. Unfortunately, it's impossible to make a product that will make everyone happy. I experienced this plenty of time. It was like maybe 15th of my games that I created, and I spent so much time doing it. The first comment after I released the game was like, "What a shitty game is this?" And that was the best game that I have created so far. At least in my mind, it was. But it wasn't for this person. But funny enough, soon after this first ugly comment, there were other comments. And those comments were all okay. Those people liked the game, they play it, they enjoy it. You just need to remember that whatever you do with life, there will be always people that this is made for them, not for the rest of the people. Focus on them. Don't bother engaging or thinking about all the people who are not your target. That's the clearest way to think about it. People who don't enjoy your things, they are simply not your target. Hey, don't stay at home. I'm guilty of that. I work remotely most of the time during those 20 years. I used to spend a lot of time in front of computer. I caught myself not going out for many days in a row. And that really disturbed your emotional health. You need to go outside. You need to meet other people. You need to stretch this comfort zone of being here in your calm, cozy environment, because we need other people to enjoy our lives. So yeah, don't let yourself stay at home all the time. Experience new things. It will also work great for your imagination, for the new ideas. It will inspire you to make new things. 9. Reinvest what you earn, especially when you are young, especially when you just started. You could stay with your parents for as long as you can and just save all those money. When you're young, you don't have a lot of things to pay for. So you don't have to pay for house. You don't have to pay the bills. Try to not use your heart earned money to use on your lifestyle. Just invest them. Create your own budget for your future self. So yeah, be smart about it. You can always buy yourself a car later on. You can always buy yourself like PlayStation or new phone or whatever later on. Yeah, that's really big one. Then, and the last thing is this. Whatever happens in your life, everything is going to be okay. People will die, your marriage may collapse, your business might struggle, you can run out of money, and I went through all of that. But the thing is, it's always just a matter of time when the things start to get better. Of course, it requires efforts on your side as well, but in the end, it always gets better. So stop overthinking things. Just live a life the best you can, despite the circumstances. And lastly, just small bonus thing. If you are still in your 20s, like early 20s, remember you have a lot of time ahead. You don't need to rush things up. You will still have time for everything. All the life is ahead of you. So enjoy. And if you enjoyed this video, don't hesitate to share it, like it. And if you are interested to see my next videos, subscribe. Bye.